go fair. No. Try to choose one thing, focus. When this business work for itself, without you being there, then you can go and open another business. So hard work, discipline, focus. رابع حاجة التعليم. كثيرين من الناس بيقولوا يفتكروا انه لو ساب المدرسه وسال اسمع في الانترنت وفي الاخبار ساب المدرسه ما اعرف مين ودخل. هذه اميث، خطا. انت education is very important. Drop out from school, you cannot success in business. Don't think that if you drop out from your 11, 12 and you go work hard outside without knowledge or learning, you're gonna grow. It's gonna be small business or your life. So learning, you do extra, or if you are self-learner, okay, you go to so many areas, keep doing the best. I think you're in school and do this will make you success. No, you finish your degree and then go do business, then you will be having an advantage comparing to the rest of the business. It happened to me. I came from engineering and importing food. Most of my people who start university degree. So my advantage, I thought that I have, and I can expand my business using my knowledge. Doing a brand, opening a website, on social media. So that choosing products. With my background was easier for me. When 2, 3 people go there and ask for, like when I went to get the Holliston distributing agent in Australia, there's so many people went, big companies. When I meet them in Denmark, no my background, they said it will give you the agency. So if I was not an engineer, they wouldn't have given me the agency. And business for me was my main product that brought my business. Last thing I learned from الاخ الكبير استاذ ادريس شانيو، بعد 4 3 عمل البزنس بدا يكبر، ولكن الاوراق او الحسابات ما كانت كامله او صحيحه. لازم تحدد يوم معين او شخص معين يكون يمسك الحسابات. ف last thing I want to say, if you have a business, since you start, you have to know that accounting management or bookkeeping is very important. When you start a business, don't wait for 2 3 years, then you go back and try to know what you spend and what is your expense. A lot of business I know, they're running and they close because of that. They think they're selling, they think their money is coming to the account, but at the end of the month, the expense is more than the income. So they have to close. But you have to know from day one, every day, how much you make and how much your expenses. Every month, how much is it? Every 2 months, how much? Then after that, you can grow your business if you have an extra income, or you try to go back and try to take your expenses down so you can survive in this. So this is what I need to talk about. I'll leave the microphone to Muhammad for the investment and the further.
Shukran, brother Abdurrahim. Assalamu alaikum, for inviting us to this lovely talk and workshop. Before that as well, I'm not a financial advisor, so that's a disclaimer. I'm just sharing with you my journey and things that I've seen. So if there is a anyone, that would be great. The idea behind investing is 2 things. Number one is that you really need to invest to offset the inflation. So if we have $1,000 sitting in a place, for example, let's say you save $1,000 over 1 year, if you don't do anything with that money, next year you already lost 30% without doing anything. So your purchase power in 1 year has already diminished. And us Muslims, we also need to pay the zakat al-mal. So you got another 2.5 on top of that, correct? If there's a hold on it and all the other stuff, so you're already 5-6% down. And that's why the first thing is you need to invest your money so you can keep value of the money relevant. Now, the other thing is because of the wealth creation. What's the idea behind it? The idea behind the wealth creation is you can't be working all your life for money. The idea is that you need to have other sources of income, so life becomes easier on you. You should be thinking about, okay, I've got a job, but you never know what's going to happen to you as an individual. We all get sick, we get laid off, things happen, calamities. So there is always need to be a second, a third, and a fourth source of income. My own life, when I was always thinking as a young kid, how can I make extra money, even before finishing high school? So I ventured into a few small businesses being in high school. I remember I grew up in Canada, so I remember that I met a couple of my friends that used to go to a faraway area shopping centers where they get the jeans for less money. So I used to go take it and sell it to the to our friends and students in high school, and we were making $10, $15 on a jean. But that's the idea behind it. It's just making that extra money and understanding that. Now, within the Islamic way of thinking about it as well, what's the idea behind all of this? We need to empower our communities. We need to help each other. Even in Islam, it's telling you that you need to pay the zakat al-mal, so others can be benefiting from that. So if we start creating wealth, that will also benefit our Muslim brothers. Our community will be stronger. We're all here in Australia. Probably a lot of us did not know, at a younger age that we're going to be here, or the guys that were born here. That's a different story. But then maybe there's something behind it. So we are here to spread the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time to be strong communities. And we need to flourish. One of them is finance or just location. And we all do it in halal. So one of the ideas behind the investment is where should we invest, all right? And how does it work? And how do you relate real estate, stock market to crypto, to just having a small anything, even with business for Brother Ibrahim, is the return on the actual investment. If you want to invest, you need to get the inflation rate. Whatever you want to invest, at minimum, you need to get 5%. Okay, I don't know if one of you know about MCCA, Islamic Bank in Sydney Road. They've got a mutual fund where you can put your money, then they will invest it for you. That you might lose some of the money, but on average, you get about 4 to 4.5% depending. So at least you take your money away from whatever bank you guys have it in, where you're not making money, correct? Or it's not halal. At least you go with the MCCA if it's halal, and you're getting the 4 or 5%. That is the least that you could do. That's the minimum of the minimum. So that's the slowest way of doing the lowest way of doing investment. We go up the ladder, more expensive stuff. So we start getting maybe into the stock market. Now the stock market, the return will be much higher, correct? But there's a little bit more risk as well. And then after that, you can go into financing businesses. For example, Brother Abdurrahim might have a business idea that you want to go in him. You're gonna put in a lot of money, and then there's way more risk now in this scenario. Then you've got the cryptos and that world. That is too much of risk because there is a lot of unknown. But if you understand it, if you know what you're doing, then that can be fine as well. Some of the questions that I received here for the conference preparation. For example, like what are some of the financial goals that the youth should be targeting from a young age? To me, if I reflect back, I think clear up. Don't take too much loans. Just take what's necessary for you. Education is important, of course, because there's a reward to it. But don't go into this lavish life at a very young age because you're just going to be incurring a lot of debt. Correct? So I think, for example, people who use credit cards, you pay 20% back if you don't pay it on time. That's a huge amount of interest to pay. Usually, I pay mine off before even the date. Correct? So incurring no interest, and that's not good as well because that's not like it's haram. I mean, maybe, but the interest rate on credit cards is not a good thing. So don't take loans. Invest in yourself, in your education, and then whatever you can budget yourself. I don't know if you budget on the Excel sheet, the budget. So if we look at somebody just on an average a year, and I think I broke down into like monthly savings. So maybe you could be saving about $1,000 if you still live with your parents, and then $1,000 in a year, it becomes like $12,000. Now, if you don't do anything with that $12,000 for 5 years, I think you get about $60,000 in savings. But if you take that exactly same amount and invest it, and say you invested in about 10% return for 5 years, you already got, I think, 72,000, and that's like one extra of savings that you do not even work for. So the idea behind investment is the compounding of profit year over year over year. And the advantage that you guys have is time. For me and some of the brothers here, we're on the older side, but you guys are very, very young, mashallah. You've got a long time, inshallah. Every 10 years, or even, let's see, if you just something like the stock market or something about 10% return, I think every 7 years you can be doubling your money. And you just leave it, and you just work more money, have a vision. You have to have a vision. You have to have a dream. So as a young kid, when I was growing, I remember my neighbors were very old when they actually paid off their loan. So from that young age, I knew that, you know what, when I want to pay as much as I can off it, I'm not going to be taking 80% loans. That was a determination. That was a goal. And alhamdulillah, I did that, correct? Then you move into the next one, whatever it is that you want to achieve. Just talking about the stocks in general, if you want to pick something. So when we look at the stocks as an investment, if I tell right now, Brother Ibrahim had 1 billion customers every day into his shop or coming into his business, and he's making, correct? So 3 billion, not million, 3 billion. This dude does not have any debts, correct? And everything looks fine. All the papers look good. He has a growth of a business of 15% per year. His net profit margin is about 30%. So we will be stupid not to invest with him. Correct? And then you've got the history. You can go back as 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Everything there in the book. So that's an example that I just gave you right now about Facebook or Meta. So Meta, as of today, every day, they've got more than 3 billion users on their platforms. they make about 30% profit, upward of 30% profit. They've got a growth margin of about 15%, correct? So basically, if you invest with these top heavy hitters, you're talking about 15, 20% a year at minimum, correct? So that's where the money makes a difference. So even if you want to pay off, like, let's say a house, I think definitely you should be paying off your house. But when you look at paying off my house at a 5% loan versus making 20%, you can give the money a little bit here, a little bit there. So you make a little bit more money. One more thing about targeting something, the way I started out about that is I wanted to pay one of my bills. For example, I have like mobile phone bills, and let's say your mobile phone bill is at $80 or $70 a month. The way I think about it is, can I pay my bills off as well? So once you pay off your house, what else can you pay off? Basically, you're living a life where you work for fun. You don't want to work just to pay bills. Some of that is that you get. And there's a lot of ways of doing it. There's many ways of doing it. Anybody ask any questions or? Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of the AI, there is, so we can all see it the way we do with the Chat GPT and stuff like that. These big guys, the big companies, they're investing a lot. For example, on Meta, they are targeting your ads to tailor it to just you. So when there is an ad, because of the power of the AI, what you see on the same platform might be a different ad than what I see because of my characteristics, correct? And they are claiming that they are making a lot of money on that way, and they're actually increasing the subscription fees for these people who want to put ads in. So there is real money in it. But like everything else, there will the bottom whatever 20%, 30% companies that are investing in AI, and probably they might not make money on it. But the big guys, they're investing heavily, and they are showing the profit in there. So again, yeah, that's another thing as well. Like you bring in a good point. My first stock that I bought was Apple, and the way I bought it, the way I bought Apple, the idea behind it was I was in Dubai. That was the time when the AirPod came out. I went to Dubai, I couldn't find them, and then I was going to another vacation spot in Turkey. I had to find them my research, and I said, you know what? These guys are going to be killing it. They're going to be making lots of money selling these AirPods because they were just coming out. The guys in Wall Street, they don't know these, they only know numbers. So we are all, if you ever find something that is really good, you think this is a good company, as well just go invest. Don't be just a user. I go buy my Apple shares about 4 or 5 years ago. I still have them. I did not sell. And every time somebody buys an iPhone device or an iPhone or an Apple device, percentage, but I'm an owner of the business itself as well.
Actually, it's the opposite for the same when I came to the business. Whenever I start, I do business plan, risk assessment. Every time I do that, the way is gonna fail. So at the end, if you have all this knowledge and you don't have the appearance, the ground in the work itself, that result is going to be something that hidden that you don't see. So what I did, I start like that, and then after 1 year, I said, no, I need to learn the export and import businesses. I quit my job. I went with a small van and I started to work with the businesses in Australia. Try to take product from suppliers or importers and try to distribute the product myself and learn the inside thing that I never knew was engineering, seeing from top. After I did that for a year, I came back and I did my risk assessment planning. Then I find out, because I have the two experience together, the ground experience and the knowledge, and I find a way for me to slip in and start my business, and that's what I did. Yes, it's very important. A lot of people do they start the business without the risk assessment or the planning, and they fail. But even though you have that knowledge, and if you don't have the, it's not going to work. You have to have both. Alhamdulillah, and when I did both, Alhamdulillah, my business was growth.
On the same point as well, when you're doing other investment, same thing, you have to do the risk assessment. You can't just go in and just buy stuff without doing your homework, because there's always the risk of, losing money.
After about 2 years, when I start to do my time, which is 12 hours a day, and I could not get the profit that I was aiming for. So I said, look, what I'm doing now, this is my end. That's the money that I'm going to make. So what I have to do, try cut my profit. Like let's say I have 30% of it from the work I do myself, and go to a partner and tell him, look, this is my profit that I make 30%. I did it 15 for you and 15 for you. Then my few businesses can be already doing the same thing, and they start to work with me, and there's more than I sell myself. Now I'm comfortable. So I'm sitting here, my partner is selling. So my product I post, don't be greedy, try to minimize your profit, share it with others. Then when you do you sell more, you make more money. And a lot of other people, my competitors, don't do that. They try to keep the 50% and do whatever they don't sleep. But me, I still do the hard work for myself. Whereas I have 4 or 5 businesses doing the same thing, selling my product. They sell my product. To do that, you have to be, you make sure you have a good relation with the companies. In the same time, you have to be truthful. Like after the business one day, look, I make $10. I sell this product with $3. You sell it with 30, I give it to you 25, and I'm making $5. When I go there, then when the product nearly expired, I cannot go and to the customer and say, look, I can sell it to you with $20. Because when I do this, I'm losing a partner. So I lose money, then losing a partner. I sold oil to many shops. The shops need to bring customers. So I sell with them like let's say $9. They sell it in the shop with $8 to bring customer. They lose $1 to get the customer. I stop selling back. I lose money, but I don't lose partner. So you have to be truthful. When you do that, you have to make sure that whatever you say to your partner, you keep it, even though you lose your money. And at the end, you will make profit and sometimes good relation. Me, uh, what I see is like if you are working, you have a full-time job, you earn money, you have to know that when you start business, there is no income for at least for the first 6 months. So work in the like everybody doing, do a saving that your family for the 6 months, and then go start a business. And when you start a business, you cannot do two things together. A lot of people make a mistake. They say, okay, I work, getting my income, I go do another business or start a business. It will fail straight away. If you don't focus and you give it 100% of your time, of your effort, you're gonna lose it. So do work and business in time. A lot of people tried it and it doesn't work. And it did well and it wasn't working. And as I said, do saving. When you get the saving, not for the business. Let's say you have $50,000. $5,000. This is the aim that you want to keep for the family. Survive for 6 months. You don't touch it. And then it's 1,000 is for business. When you do that, then start the business for 6 months and keep going. If you then inshallah Allah will, yani, if you choose the right business, then inshallah you will go. Want to go together? Time, do not start a business without having saving for your family, because in 2 months, whether you're gonna break the marriage or lose the whole money. So you have to keep the saving for the family for at least 6 to 12 months, and then you start your business.
So you're saying that the 50,000 was already saved? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So just looking back quickly is major costs that you're gonna have. So you're gonna have the O study stuff. So personal choice, I just paid it off. That was my personal choice. But again, if we go back into the actual number, is you need to look at the return. So if you need to pay back whatever 2-3%, but that same amount of money I can go invest it somewhere else and make 10%. You just need to pay it vital. You don't need to pay it off. So to me, the major cost would be the O study. You got rid of that one. You're still gonna be working. Whether you're married or not, that's a different story. But the cost of the wedding is huge, correct? So you need to think about that. I did dedicate time when I was working that I knew that I needed to save certain amount for the marriage. That was definitely I was definitely thinking about it. Now, if you have the excess, so let's say you paid off the wedding, you paid off your car, you've got no studies left, education bills, then going to be the house. So looking at what's going on right now with house prices and everything, I wouldn't say save everything just to go buy a house. Maybe save a little bit, like Brother Abdurrahim was saying. You should have something in like a managed fund, like EA. Put $1,000 a month if you can into that. Then that automatically going to go towards the payment, the down payment of the house, and the other money that you've got. Let's say you've got another $500. Slowly assign. From my perspective, from what I've seen, it's not financial advice. Like I just told you, it's no brainer. You need to get Microsoft, Apple, Google. I mean, everybody here today probably use something to do with Google everywhere, correct? So you just need to look at numbers. You need to do your due diligence, understand the fundamentals. Just don't bet you buy slowly. If you have an idea, I'm going to buy about $5,000 worth of stocks this year. I'm in first position with Google today. I'm going to $5. Wait, put in 500. The other idea is you wait for the stock to go up 10%, then you put in more money, correct? And then another 10%, so you got a buffer. Yeah, because if the market goes down and the market does go down, you have a buffer. You have a buffer of about 15, 20%. You have time to react. Now, I would not recommend taking risk at a young age because the money that you're working for, you're working really hard for that money. You're not at the stage where you have excess money. So don't go and start into very risky investment. I would not do that. Some people want to make 10x, 20x, 30x. That's a different thought, different school. For me, I'll go steady, 20%, 15% a year compounded over 10 years, 15 years, and diversification. So once we go beyond that 20, like when you're in your 20s and you're taking these like calculated measures, then when I get to my 30s and I've got more income, I've got a partner. So you've got a partner, you're both working, inshallah. One payment of the salary is going towards the bills and mortgages, and the other one can go towards the vacations and the investment. Put 20-30% of your total income into invest for the kids as well, for the education. Looking way back 20 years when we first came to Australia in 1998, we Cavell. That house was next to the train station. The guy wanted to sell it for $180,000. Correct? My folks did not want to buy it because they thought that was too expensive. Go $180,000, 3-bedroom in Pascoville. Today is going to be over $1.5 million. Correct? So the idea behind everything is diversification, slowly, stages in life. Your 20s are totally different than your 30s and your 40s. I don't know if we have that slide about the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So in the 20s, you played a little bit safe, not too much risk, and you're just in a little bit into the stock market. Once you're comfortable, you can go big. I started with little, with 5,000, 10,000. Then I'll get a little bit stronger. You put in a lot of money in, you got your buffer, and you're investing in good companies. Now, you look at these like 3 or 4 big stocks, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, they actually contribute to about 25% of the global GDP. So we're talking about the entire globe, the entire world. 25% of that economy, of the entire world. So you should be part of it, correct? I like to wear Nike shoes. So don't spend $200, $250, just more of that penny as well.
Yeah, investor and business like a marriage. We don't like each other, but we have to work together. Against what he said, we need not going to get everything. So if you get the quality or the knowledge or time and the money to invest or to do business, go ahead and try. You're not going to learn. You fail, you learn. You do another thing to that. You don't. It's good for you. But the investors. They are more risk people. Want you to be safely, slowly. But as Eritrean, as young, I think we need to get this. Someone has to start it, do it, and leave a legacy so other people can go and the young people can do that, inshallah. But in the same time, work with the investors that they can try to keep you from falling very hard. But falling is good. You try, inshallah, Rabbana will make it easy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely. I look you correct. So you've got like let's say the S&P 500, which is an index of all the top 500 companies in the US. Some people they don't go look at individual stocks. They're just gonna buy the average of all these 500 companies. The thing is that they don't know inside that ETF or that fund when you open it up, you're gonna look at companies where, for example, for me ethically, I would not do it. Religion and ethical as well. Like there's a company like Lockheed Martin they do the military stuff for the US. There is another one for the cigarettes and tobacco. There is the one for the alcohols. There's the one for the banking. I don't touch it, shares of banks. So yes, you're right, and that's why you need. And from that perspective, I do follow that method for sure. Yeah, and then also into the real estate with the interest and stuff. Yeah, you definitely need to look into that. Talk to people who know about it, and just make sure that everything, inshallah, is according with the Sharia.
سؤال جميل لكن عميق، يعني اجابه صعبه جدا، لكن انا بشوف البدايه لازم تكون من انت معرفه نفسك. يعني الشخص اللي بدا البزنس لازم يعرف ايش المهارات اللي عنده، الادفانس يعني الميزات اللي عنده، ايش الحاجات اللي يعني موجوده معاه بس مو موجوده مع اخوانه، اول شيء يعرف المميزات، بعدين يعمل دراسه الفكره او البزنس اللي هو عايز يعملها، يطلع برا يشوف البزنس هذا اللي قاعد يسويه مين موجود، من المنافس، مين يعني الكاستمرز، مين الكلاينت هو عايز يعمل مثلا سيرفيس اللي هو كان او يعمل كده. بعد ما يعمل مهاراته ويحلل السوق يجي نفسه فرصه، زي ما انا قلت لو هو متزوج الفرصه موجوده، يحاول يعمل شيء معين يحمي عائلته، يشتغل يعني شغل شاق يعني او هارد ورك عشان يعمل سيفنج يحطه على جنب العائله مثلا، وهو يبدا بعد ما حسس مهاراته وعرف السوق اللي يبغى يشتغل فيه، ويبدا يتوكل على الله في السنة ويشتغل كله منه بقوه وتركيز، وان شاء الله يعني مشكلتنا احنا دائما بنعمل البزنس اللي هدفه ثانوي، يعني يكون واحد مركز في حاجه ثانيه، يفتح له مثلا يفتح له شركه استيراد، يروح يجيب بضاعه وهو في البيت عنده في الجراج حتى. هذه الحاجات ما حتنفع، انت اعرف مهارات، اعرف يعني سكيل حقك، وبعدين شوف السوق، وبعدها توكل على الله في خلال سنه انك انت تقدر انك تتكسر بيه. ان شاء الله ربنا يوفقك.
Thank you.
جزاكم الله خير. You guys are gonna stick around, yes? You're gonna stick around inshallah? خلاص, okay. So they're gonna be around inshallah. Feel free to grab them, ask any questions. It really is beneficial, you know. As the Sheikh spoke about, together we rise. One of the things we need to rise is actually financially, okay? So they will be around. Muhammad Abdul Rahim will be around. Feel free to reach out and ask him a question. We're about to go for a break. Just a reminder, inshallah. The break, we're gonna break for dhuhr and lunch. And inshallah, we'll be back, have to be back by 2:40. The program will commence at 2:40. That gives us about 40 minutes, sorry, 35 minutes. So please get your lunch and visit the markets. We're going to start on our panel, which is going to be touching on mental health and balancing everything inside. And of course, the gallery. Please pay the gallery a visit. We got a wonderful gallery and there's some amazing art touching on all of our culture. And please don't forget to scan the QR and give your feedback. جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. بسم الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله لا إله إلا الله